This is a redstone lamp. And this is a lit redstone lamp. But how do you get a lit redstone lamp in your inventory? It's quite easy actually. In snapshot 12W08A, there exists a bug where if you have some lit redstone lamps like these and use your pickaxe on the lit redstone lamps, it will actually drop a redstone lamp in its lit state. You can then scoop it up into your inventory and keep these redstone lamps in your inventory like this. But unfortunately, they don't last like this, and when they place down again, they just revert back to their unlit state. What a shame! Oh, and this? This is just your typical run-of-the-mill Minecraft snapshot lighting glitch. Thanks, snapshots. Hello everyone, welcome back to Minecraft The Journey with me, BugmanCX, and around me is the chaos that is Arboria. This is the jungle village which we've been building ever since jungles were added into the game a few versions ago. And I gotta be honest, there's something that I'm really tired of saying every time I do one of these intros, and that is, we are currently in snapshot 12W08A. I know, we've been in this snapshot for so long, but there were good reasons for that, right? We needed to build up the iron supplies, we built this iron farm, we did all sorts of other things related to that snapshot. I don't even remember what they all were now, it's been so long, but we need to upgrade. Before we do that, however, there are a couple of things that I just want to run through, because the next version that we're going to upgrade to is kind of, sort of, the full release of 1.2. It gets a little bit weird. But the next version to be released is version 1.2. Jeb put out a statement when this was released saying, "We plan to release Minecraft 1.2 tomorrow, but you can already check it out by downloading and installing it like a weekly snapshot." So what he means by that is that you could download release 1.2 and install it and run it, but this would be a little bit before 1.2 was actually released. So what does that mean for release 1.2? Well, let's just move to 1.2 and find out. And this is where things get a little bit strange. It says down here in the bottom left-hand corner that this is Minecraft 1.2. Usually 1.2 would mean a full release version of Minecraft. And I suppose technically it is, but according to Jeb, it's a preview release. And they're going to be releasing Minecraft full release the following day. So what we're actually going to see here is that Minecraft 1.2 is a pre-release for the full version, which will be Minecraft 1.2.1. And that's confusing because that 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4 is usually reserved for minor updates to the major release. This is not the only time Minecraft's versioning has been a little bit chaotic and weird, so let's just accept this and move on. Right now we're in Minecraft 1.2, a preview release. Let's head back into our world, and here we are. There have been changes since the last snapshot as well, so I suppose we better discover what they all are. Does something sound different to you? Well, we're going to have to get into all of that later, but first I actually want to upgrade to the full release of 1.2.1 and get off of this preview. There are actually no changes between the preview release and release 1.2.1 except for the version number, so we might as well just do it right now and get ourselves on the proper full release. First things first, I think we've got to investigate all these weird noises, don't you? It sounds like a hollow, tinny thumping sound. Well, it's definitely not coming from you. Is it you? You know what? I think it is. I think as these iron golems are wandering around, they're actually making sounds now, which is incredible because they've been a silent giant for quite a long time. There are plenty of them around, so let's just see what happens if we give one a little love tap. Oh, I missed. Try again. Oh, there we go. It's making damage noises as well. That's the sound I'm much more familiar with from these iron golems. The walking around sound, not so much. Ow. Ow. And, don't kill me. I want to hear your... Yep. One of these days I might actually wear armor. Now what I wanted to do is see if I could get the death sound for one of these iron golems, so hopefully this was the one we were experimenting with. Oh, maybe not. Ow. And, come on. Oh, poor little thing. Now, one of the other changes related to iron golems is that the spawning rates have been significantly reduced. Honestly, I don't know what the rates are. I might do a comparison run between the previous version and the current version to see how much that's affected the iron farm up here. But if we just have a look up here, we should see this thing light up whenever an iron golem is spawned. And previously, it was lighting up all the time. And now, not so much. So it's a good thing that I collected tons and tons of these. Oh, that's all my junk, but I definitely got enough blocks of iron to last me a considerable amount of time, and this thing can continue to run passively anyway. But as for all the iron golems around here, there are so many of them, and there always have been so many of them spawning in here, that I expect these will just slowly die off, and if the rate of spawning has been reduced, then maybe the number that populate Arborea will also reduce. We'll just have to see how things change over time. But so far, it's not looking good. This is a 5-minute time lapse of the iron farm rates comparing 12W08A and release 1.2.1. Yeah, I might have to do a longer test. The F3 debug screens had some additions as well. If I pull it up, we can take a look. We've got the X, Y, and Z as usual, the F for which direction that I'm facing, and now we've got this new row as well. LC, B, BL, SL, RL. Why don't we jump into a creative world and explore these in a bit more detail? Most of the new values on this F3 screen relate to Minecraft's lighting system. LC stands for largest section height, and that's basically the topmost Y level of the highest sub-chunk of the chunk that happens to be populated by blocks during natural terrain generation. Now, what does all of that mean? Well, why don't we clear all of the chunks around us except for one, and we can have a look at exactly what it means. Oh, look at that. I do love me a little bit of Minecraft magic. As you can see here, we have one isolated chunk with all of these gold block rings around it. So each one of these gold blocks represents the highest Y level in each subchunk. So here we've got subchunk 0, subchunk 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So subchunk 5 here is the one which contains the topmost block in the natural world generation. So if I pop up here onto the top of this tree and press F3, we can see that the LC is 95 and the current Y level is 92. So if I pop up here to these gold blocks here, you'll see that they're in fact at 95. So this is telling the game which is the highest populated block within the entire chunk so that it can use this information to calculate lighting. Exactly how it does that though, I have no idea. What about BL, SL, and RL? Well, BL stands for block brightness, and it relates to the intensity of the block at my feet level based on any light-emitting blocks nearby. So down here we can see that there's a lava pool, and we can also see that there's light being emitted from these lava sources. So if I walk towards it, watch that BL value. You'll see that if I get nearby, it increases to 1. Meaning that this is the lowest intensity of brightness from the nearest light-emitting block. If I head in more closer, you'll see that it starts to increase more and more, and as I get very close indeed, it gets to 12. Even if I pop into it, you'll see the maximum brightness that I can register is 14. And of course, if I move away from that, it gradually reduces. This is exactly the same if I were to place a torch here, for example, or use glowstone like that. It's all pretty much the same. If I break them, it goes back to 0. The SL value relates to the sky brightness, and right now it's nighttime, and you'll see that it's at its maximum of 15. And that's because it doesn't matter whether it's day or night, this value always reflects the amount of sunlight that would reach this block at my feet regardless of the day-night cycle. So if I wander around here, you'll see that it's constantly at 15. If I put other light emitting sources there, it doesn't make any difference. It always stays at 15. But if I wander down into this cave, we should see that things will change. Right here it's 15 because I have direct sky access, but watch what happens as soon as I enter the cave. As soon as I reach these blocks where there's blocks blocking the natural skylight, it starts to reduce. And the further in I go, the less and less skylight there is. And so eventually it reaches 0. And of course, if we reset the day-night cycle to daytime, you'll see that this value remains unchanged. And finally, we have the RL value. This is raw brightness, and it's the highest value of either block light or skylight, depending on which one is the brightest. So right now it's 15 because the skylight up here is currently the brightest value of 15, whereas block light is 0 because there's nothing emitting light around me. But if I were to head down into this cave, you will see how this changes. So here we still have access to skylight, and moving this way into the cave, both of these values drop because the current highest value to choose from is 8, and it's the skylight value. But if I place a torch here at my feet, you'll see that the RL value now increases to 13 because the block light value is currently the largest. But if I head back away from this light, you'll see that as soon as I get to the skylight value being greater, the raw light value is now the greatest as well. So it's a pretty clever way for the game to be able to calculate the maximum brightness of the block at your feet based on all of the available light sources. The game recalculates light periodically, and as you can see over there and right here in front of us, there are some weird bugs. Let's head down here and maybe the game will show us what's going on. Yeah, you can see it immediately recalculated. I didn't even get a chance to see if the SL and RL values changed. And if I pop under this tree, again, the game recalculated the values too quickly for me to even be able to detect what was going on. Mobs will spawn on solid blocks with a light value of 7 or less, but we don't actually see this value on the F3 screen. The game uses a similar method to calculating the RL value, but instead it adds a penalty to the SL value based on the current day-night cycle. That way, the light level for spawning can still be calculated. The final addition to the F3 screen is B for biome, and as we can see, we're in the jungle biome. Now we can see exactly which biome we're in whenever we wander around the world. So what I'm going to do is just wander around a little bit from biome to biome for a while and see if we can encounter anything we didn't know or that we didn't expect. Of course, right here next to our jungle is a swampland, and it's out here in this water mostly. But as we transition from jungle to swampland, we can now see that that's exactly what that biome is called. Now, of course, here the river is called River, although I don't know if it's technically a biome. I suppose it is. It's just that it doesn't generate in the world the same way as the other biomes do. Taiga. Forest. Extreme Hills, and the Extreme Hills Edge. Of course, those are all just the boring biomes. I want to see what happens when we go into the Nether, because the Nether wasn't the original name for that dimension, as you well know. It used to be called Hell. So as you can see, the biome name is still Hell. It was never changed within the game code. Oh, by the way, while I'm here, I've finished this little hallway which takes you to the other nearby locations around the Arborea base here, and I've also installed a number of these which take you all the way to the surface and make it much easier to get up and down and access the rail system that we installed in the last episode. So that is just a little bit of a quality of life thing. But while we're here, there is one more dimension that I want to check out. And here it is right here in the Nether, our end portal room that we built some time back when we had access to these blocks here and these blocks here. I just love being able to access the end from the Nether. It's great. Okay, so let's dive through and see Sky. I thought it might say Sky, and that's interesting because this dimension was originally going to be the Sky dimension with floating islands, and it got repurposed to become the End when the Ender Dragon was added to the game. And of course, we've got our moon base here. I haven't been here in ages. There is one more massive change which I think is going to just change the game for me. I've got these blocks in my inventory, and if I put them in the crafting grid, you'll see that 3 stone now gives me 6 slabs. This is incredible because previously you would only get 3 and you were getting ripped off because if you imagine each of these blocks being cut in half, of course you'd end up with 6 slabs, not 3 slabs. So just from a resource perspective, that is amazing. With the wood slabs as well, you get 6, of course, but the most expensive of all is the sandstone, and now you get 6, and you have no idea how useful this would have been when we were building Sandria. Well, apparently there's a bit of a zombie siege going on over here at Arboria, but don't worry, the iron golems are looking after things, and I'm sure that the villagers will rebreed as soon as things calm down. Jeez, that was a bit rough, wasn't it? Oh, there's more. I'm actually often having to go around and fix up all the doors. It's quite a common thing. But I don't mind. It all adds to the chaos of Arboria. Now, where was I? Yes, there were a couple of new additions which aren't really featured in the game properly yet, and I want to explore what they are. One is a new texture, or two new textures, and one is a brand new block. Let's take a look at the good old terrain.png. Down in the bottom there, on the second to bottom row, you can see two new sand-like textures. The first texture seems to be broken up into quadrants with what looks like a player, a creeper face, some sort of snout, maybe, and then another block which looks like a square inside of the square part of the block. And on the right-hand side, to me, I'm not sure what that is. It's either a beehive with eyes or it's the face of a mummy. I don't know. You tell me. But as it would happen, these textures have just been introduced into the terrain.png file. They're not yet used in-game. There has been a new block added to the game, and if we browse the creative menu here, we can see it. Can you see it yet? I'll give you a clue. It's a stone variant. Right? It's over here. Stone bricks, stone bricks, stone bricks, stone bricks. It's this one here, and it doesn't have a name yet, as most of them don't, but it looks a little bit like this. I guess you could call that a square, but the community called this the circle stone bricks until it got its official name in the next version or so, and we'll explore that when it comes. But right now it's not obtainable, it's not craftable, so what's the purpose of this brick? I suppose we're going to have to wait for a few versions until this is actually implemented into the game properly. We could wait for this block to be added to survival. We really could. Or we could create a block transmutation device and get as many of them as we wanted. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. Up here is where I'm going to build it, and I just need to check which direction I'm facing. This is facing 3 and this is facing 0. We can't have the machine facing this way. It has to be facing this way. So this is the perfect location. And this is really easy to build. All we need to do is build a little channel like this. We're going to place some blocks around the outside to encase our water supply. This can get removed, and then place some blocks here, here, and here. Let me have that back, please. Right here underneath this, we're going to place a sticky piston. And we're going to place a sticky piston there and there. On the front of the sticky pistons, we're going to put some blocks, and that is almost it. We're going to make this little hole here so that our water, when it flows across this way, has somewhere to flow down to. And then we're going to place a block here. We're going to place a torch right here and some redstone dust here, 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 and here to power the piston. Now, if I just get my water bucket and place the water into the trough up here, this all looks good and we should be ready to go. We've played with transmutation machines before, and it's actually pretty straightforward. All it's going to do is take a stone brick like this, and then once it goes through the machine and the pistons fire, this will result in the data value for this block changing to the circle stone variant. I'm not used to calling it a circle stone, but that's what it was called around this time, so I'm trying to do the right thing. So all we need to do is place a stone brick block right here, and then place a redstone torch right on top of it, and why didn't it work? Turns out everything was fine. I just had to relocate the machine to a different location. You know how these transmutation things work? They have to be in a specific orientation, and sometimes they have to be in specific areas. So I just moved the machine around until I found one that worked. And guess what? It does work. Ow! I fell in. But look at this. We've got one of these circle stone blocks, and I can make as many of these as I want because all I need to do is keep filling up this machine with stone blocks like this, and then just bam, so I can just get myself a little rhythm going here, like this, like that. Yeah, a little factory going. So let's have a little look at this in our so annoying, isn't it? In our survival world right here. Yes, so we can now introduce these into our survival builds and use them and make as many of them as we wish. But I do believe that I have to do this transmutation while I'm on these versions because I think this bug is going to get fixed again real soon. So I'll have to work on that in between episodes and build up my supplies. Look at that, an entire stack of this new circle stone block. This machine behind me makes this all too easy. But that is all we have time for in today's episode. So I want to say thank you for joining me. An extra special, wonderful thank you to my patrons for supporting me. If you'd like to support me, you can follow the links down below or click the YouTube thanks button or just, like the video, leave a comment or share it with your friends, that sort of thing. Or join my Discord. Just come and hang out. Just do all the things. I'll see everybody in the next episode. Until then, this has been BugmanCX. You've been watching Minecraft The Journey. Bye-bye! I need all of these back.